Let's see how we are going to solve quadratic equations by factoring. In this video, we'll go over these 12 examples so we can really understand. Now, here's the idea when we want to solve a quadratic equation by factoring. First, we want the equation to be in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. We must have the 0 on one side. And then just factor the quadratic. Most likely, we'll get two factors. So I will just write the first times the second. Now, because this is equal to 0, so we can use the zero product property, which says either the first factor will be equal to 0 or the second factor will be equal to 0. Then we can just solve them individually. That will be it. Now, let's put this in action. For the first one, we have x squared plus 6x plus 8 is equal to 0. So we have this equal to 0 already. We can just focus on factoring this, which is a trinomial. It has 3 terms. So we can factor this by the tic-tac-toe method. Let me show you. We will draw the tic-tac-toe boxes like this. And then to begin, we ask ourselves, what times what will give us x squared? And the answer is just, well, x times x. Now, we are going to do the same thing for the 8. What times what will give us 8? We can do 2 times 4, 1 times 8, or maybe negative 2 times negative 4, or maybe negative 1 times negative 8, right? We do have quite a few choices, but the correct combination that we'll use is 2 and 4. Because this is how we check. We take the x times this number, 4, so 4 times x is 4x. And then we take this 2 times this x, that would be 2x. Combine the middle, 4x plus 2x does give us 6x, which is exactly what we have right here. So checks. Now, the factors are x plus 2 times x plus 4. When we do the tic-tac-toe, be sure that you go across for the factor. So we have x plus 2 for the first factor, and the next one is x plus 4 for the second factor. The order will really matter later on. In this case here, because both terms right here is just x, so it doesn't seem that matter, but later on it will really matters. So to continue, once we have this factored, we can just say the first factor is equal to 0 or the second factor is equal to 0. For the first equation, subtract 2 to both sides. So we get x is equal to negative 2. That's the first answer. And for the second answer, just subtract 4 to both sides, and we will get x is equal to negative 4. And then we are done. Now, let's try another one, just like that. X squared plus x minus 12 is equal to 0. And I think you should try this first. Pause the video and think about what we need to do. Done? Okay, let's go over it. We have this equal to 0 already. So do the tic-tac-toe like earlier. We need x times x to get x squared. Now to get negative 12, what do we need? If you say 4 and negative 3, then you are correct. We see x times negative 3 is negative 3x, and then 4 times x is 4x. So together, we do end up with positive x, and that's exactly what we want right here. So the factors are x plus 4 times x minus 3, and that's equal to 0. So let's put the first factor equal to 0, and then put the second factor equal to 0. Subtract 4 to both sides here. First answer, x is equal to negative 4. And right here, let's add 3 to both sides. And we get x is equal to positive 3. And then we are done. Continue with number 3. How about x squared minus 10x plus 25 is equal to 0? Same thing, right? Let's go ahead and factor it with the tic-tac-toe. X times x Now, to get 25, it's not just 5 times 5. We are going to use negative 5 times negative 5 because we need to end up with negative 10x right here, right? So let's see. X times negative 5 is negative 5x. Negative 5 times x is negative 5x. And this works. So the factors are x minus 5 times x minus 5. And they are the same actually, right? So we can really just say x minus 5 is equal to 0 and then add the 5 to both sides. So for this one, we only have one answer. X is equal to 5 because the two factors are equal. Next, number 4. Let's see if we have x squared minus 5x is equal to 0. So we still have the 0 on the right hand side, which is good, but the left hand side, we only have two terms. So don't do the tic-tac-toe. Here, we have x squared. Here, we have x to the first power. We can factor out the common factor x. So take x squared divided by x. We will have x left right here. Take negative 5x divided by x. We will have the minus 5 left right here. So we just have to factor out the greatest common factor. In this case, it's just an x. And then we still do the same thing. Put the first factor equal to 0. So it's just x equal to 0. And we are done because x is by itself. It's equal to the number 0. And then for the other one, x minus 5 is equal to 0. Add the 5 to both sides. So x is equal to 5. Done. Now, number 5. X squared minus 2x is equal to 15. Okay, this is equal to 15. That's not what we like, right? We need to have 0 on the right hand side, right? So the first step is to minus 15 to both sides. So that way we can get the 0 that we want. And then we can do what we have been doing. This is a tic-tac-toe case because we have a trinomial. X times x will give us x squared. And to get negative 15, we are going to use negative 5 and 3 because x times 3 is 3x. Negative 5 times x is negative 5x. Together, we have negative 2x, which is what we want. So, the factors are x minus 5 times x plus 3. And then let's put the first factor equal to 0. Do the same for the second. Right here, let's add 5 to both sides. So we get x is equal to 5. And then right here, let's subtract 3 to both sides. So x is equal to negative 3. And then we are done. Number 6, x plus 1 times x plus 2. It's equal to 30. Okay, it seems like they factored it for us, right? Because we have like two sets of parentheses. But no, right here on the right hand side, this is equal to 30. It's not equal to 0. Even though we have a 0 here, but this is really 30. That's not what we want. So to take care of this, we will actually have to multiply this out first. To do so, let's FOIL it out. X times x is x squared. And then x times 2 is 2x. Continue. 1 times x is x. And then 1 times 2 is 2. And that's equal to 30. Notice we can combine the 2x and the x together. So x squared plus 3x plus 2 is equal to 30. Then we are going to subtract 30 to both sides. So we can get x squared plus 3x minus 28 is equal to 0. Then we are in business. We can factor this like what we have been doing. x times x will give us x squared. And to get negative 28, and let's see, I'm going to use 7 and negative 4. X times negative 4 is negative 4x, and then 7 times x is 7x. Together, we do get 3x, which is what we want. So, two factors, x plus 7, x minus 4. So, x plus 7 is equal to 0, x minus 4 is equal to 0. Subtract 7 to both sides. X is equal to negative 7. Here, add the 4 to both sides. And we get x is equal to 4. And we are done. Now, number 7, we have 4x squared is equal to 12x. Okay, we don't have 0 on the one side, right? So let's bring the 12x to the other side. Subtract 12x to both sides. So we will have 4x squared minus 12x, and that's equal to 0. But here, we don't have 3 terms, it's just 2 terms. And we see this is x to the second power, and this is x to the first power, so we can factor on x. Also, 4 and negative 12, we can factor out a 4. So I'm going to factor out 4x. That will be our greatest common factor. So if you take 4x squared divided by 4x, we will have x left. Negative 12 divided by 4 is negative 3. And the x is out already. So that's what we have. Then in this case, the first factor is 4x. So I'm just going to put 4x equal to 0. And then the second factor, x minus 3, put it equal to 0. So the first answer will be 0 after we divide both sides by 4. 0 divided by 4 is 0. And then for the second one, add a 3 to both sides, and we get x is equal to 3. And then we're done. Number 8. Here we just have x squared. It's equal to 49. It's not equal to 0, so let's bring the 49 to the other side. This is x squared minus 49. It's equal to 0. But now the question is, how are we going to factor this right here? Because this is x squared, but this right here does not have the x, right? Well, x squared minus 49, this is actually a difference of 2 squares. This is x squared minus the 49, it's the same as 7 squared. And then we can use the formula to factor the difference of 2 squares, which says a squared minus b squared, this is equal to a minus b times a plus b. So in this case here, we will have x minus 7 times the second factor, x plus 7. Right? Again, we use the difference of 2 square formula right here. So we can still proceed by saying x minus 7 is equal to 0, and the other one, x plus 7 is equal to 0. And then add 7 to both sides. First answer is 7, and the other answer is just minus 7 to both sides. We get negative 7. Done. Okay, for this one in particular, I do want to mention that we could have done it like this. X squared is equal to 49. When we have x squared, it's equal to a number. We can just go ahead and take the square roots to both sides, so that this and that will cancel. But you will have to remember to put a plus or minus for the number, because as you can see earlier, we end up with 2 answers, right? So if you work this out now, you will get x. It's equal to both positive and also negative square root of 49 is 7. Just like that. Now, number 9, we have 3x squared minus x minus 4 is equal to 0. So we do have the 0 on one side already. But notice this case, the coefficient of x squared is now 1. Here we have 3. So we have to be extra careful. We have a trinomial, so we can still do this by the tic-tac-toe factoring. Let me show you. To get 3x squared, we need 3x and x. That's okay. Now, to get negative 4, what do we do? We can do 2 times negative 2. But how about negative 1 times 4? Or maybe 1 times negative 4. Now, the order really matters. Let me show you a wrong combination first. If I put 2 and negative 2 like this, will this work? 3x times negative 2, that's negative 6x. 2 times x, that's 2x. Does this check out? No, because negative 6x plus 2x, that's negative 4x. That's not what we need right here. We need to have negative x. So, what do we do? Well, just try another combination. Because I told you, right, these right here are all factorable because we're trying to solve them by factoring. So let's try another one. Let's try 1 and 4. And it really matters where we put a 1 and a 4. And where we shall make the negative, right? I am going to put a 4 right here and a 1 right here. And I want to make the 4 negative. Because then you can see 3x times 1 is 3x. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. This way, when we combine the middle, you can see that's negative x, and that's exactly what we have right here. Now, as I mentioned it before, when we do the tic-tac-toe factoring, we have to go across for the factors, right? The first factor is 3x minus 4. And the next factor is x plus 1. Like this. Okay, then we can proceed by setting the first factor equal to 0. And the next factor equal to 0. For the first one, add a 4 to both sides. Do the usual business. And then divide the 3 to both sides. So the first answer, x is equal to 4 over 3. And for the second one, just subtract 1 to both sides. They cancel, and we get x is equal to negative 1. And then we're done. Okay, let's try a similar one. Number 10. Let's try 2x squared plus 5x plus 2 is equal to 0. It's equal to 0 already, so we can just proceed by factoring this right here. To get 2x squared, we need 2x and x. Now to get 2, 1 and 2, well maybe negative 1, negative 2, but no, both of them have to be positive because we need to get the positive 5 right here, right? So what do we do though? Do we put a 2 here and 1 here? Does this work? That's 2x, that's 2x. No, right? Because I'm trying to get to 5x. So that's not going to work. So let's switch it. Let's put a 1 here and 2 here. 2x times 2 is 4x. 1 times x is x. Together, we do get the 5x that we need. So the first factor is 2x plus 1. And the next factor is x plus 2. Continue. 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. X plus 2 is equal to 0. Subtract 1 to both sides. 2x is equal to negative 1. And then divide 2 to both sides. X is equal to negative 1/2. And for the other one, subtract 2 to both sides. And we get x is equal to negative 2. Done. All right, just two more. Number 11, here we go. 2x minus 1 times x minus 3 is equal to 3. It's not equal to 0. Oh my goodness, but it's okay. Let's just multiply this out. 2x times x is 2x squared. And then 2x times negative 3, that's negative 6x. Continue. Negative 1 times x is negative x. And then negative 1 times negative 3 is positive 3. And that's equal to 3. And then we can combine this and that. That's negative 7x. Then we are going to subtract 3 to both sides. This and that cancel to get 0. But 3 and minus 3 right here, it's also 0. So on the left hand side, we just have two terms. So 2x squared minus 7x is equal to 0. Now, if you look at the numbers, we cannot factor out any common number. But this is x squared and this is x to the first. We can factor out an x. And then we will be left with 2x minus 7. Put the first factor equal to 0. X is equal to 0. That's the first answer. Second answer, put 2x minus 7 is equal to 0. And then add the 7 to both sides. 2x is equal to 7. And then divide the 2 to both sides. 7 over 2 for the second answer. Done. All right, one more and then we'll be done. Number 12, we have x plus 5 times 3x minus 1, and that is equal to 35. So similar to what we did earlier, let's just go ahead and distribute. 3x times x is 3x squared, and then continue. That will be negative x, and then 5 times 3x, that's positive 15x. And then 5 times negative 1, that's minus 5. And then negative x plus 15x, that's 14x. Okay, and then subtract 35 to both sides. So 3x squared plus 14x, negative 5 minus 35 is negative 40. Now, the numbers are a little bit bigger, but let's just try it. 3x squared, we need 3x and x. To get negative 40, you can try 10 and 4. One of them should be negative, but I don't think they will work. 5 and 8, you can try 5 and 8, but I don't think it will work either. 2 and 20, let me put 20 here and 2 here, and we need to end up with positive 14 right here, right? So I'm going to make the 2 negative, and we see 3x times negative 2 is negative 6x. 20 times x is 20x. Together, we do end up with 14x. So it checks. So we will have 3x plus 20 times x minus 2. It's equal to 0. 3x plus 20, it's equal to 0. Or x minus 2, it's equal to 0. For the first one, subtract 20 to both sides. And we will have 3x is equal to negative 20. And then divide both sides by 3. So x equals negative 20 over 3. And now for the second one, just add 2 to both sides. And congratulations, x is equal to 2, and we are done. This is how you solve a quadratic equation by factoring. Next, you should also learn how to solve quadratic equations by using the quadratic formula. which is in the next video. I will have the link in the description, so go ahead and check that out. I'll see you guys there. Congratulations though, you did a great job for this video. Now, see you in the next video.